Before that, on BBC Radio 4, pop poet, dreamer and Barbican stage doorkeeper Julian Fox continues his somewhat alternative guide to architecture in Episode 3 of Julian Fox Concrete Poetry.
If I ask myself, where are the grand public spaces of the modern era? I struggle to find an answer. But we must have some. I mean, maybe the corporate has replaced religion, and at the centre of our culture there are airports, offices, and shopping centres. When I was 11 or 12, I'd draw these maps of airports for imaginary islands. I'd make sure it had a runway, and I'd get into a right state working out where the terminals and piers should be. But I guess if I had to do it for real, I wouldn't know what to do. The terminal that I am now working on is the first one I have ever designed. A new experience for the travelling public, it will be so beautiful inside. Passengers will admire the high vaulted ceiling, a check-in, they'll love my marble floors. To get here from the city centre will be so easy, trains will speed right to the terminal door. Yeah, this is what I've wanted to build for a very long time now. My terminal is the jewel in the crown of this airport expansion project. Millions of passengers will pass through security control into my departure lounge. They'll be surprised to see the use of so much natural light and a sense of space as they look around. But to cope with more people, extensions will be added over time, burying my clarity. More shops will replace spaces, it will start to look dated, my dream project will become history. Please don't alter my work too much. I know it's a machine in progress, it has to evolve to survive, but I don't want it to change. Also building a new cargo centre and a second runway, but my terminal is the talk of the town, everyone is analysing it. Yeah, this is what I've wanted to build for a very long time now. My terminal is the jewel in the crown of this airport expansion project. I'm doing an early shift today at the Barbican stage door. Yesterday I went to see this exhibition called New London Architecture. I took the Thames link to Elephant and Castle and changed onto the Tube. I don't often get out there. It meant that I could take a proper look at the shopping centre. I've heard so many bad things about it. I thought it was alright. It's got a Woolworths, Smiths, Tesco's, and Iceland. Quite a nice mix. I mean, they're planning to demolish it fairly soon as part of a huge regeneration of the area. Might go through some of my books, see if I can find anything about it. I finished work quite late last night. It must have been about 11ish. When I got home, the flatmate was still up. I could hear the TV was on in the living room. I really couldn't face speaking to him. So I went into my room, read one of my architecture books. I found it quite comforting. A ruthlessly simple box consists of a traditional structure. Concrete panels with a still skeletal frame form a biological skin. Spaces that are light democratic, flexible too, with a strong emphasis on the modular nature of the roof. A skylight pierces through. He was up when I got up today, quite early. I don't know why he bothered. He'd had one of his fry-ups. I could tell as soon as I woke up. I've told him before to open a window, but he still doesn't. I've decided to come today to the Brent Cross shopping centre in North London. I think going to Elephant Castle really inspired me to take a look at similar structures. I found out it was opened in 1976 and was the first shopping centre built in the United Kingdom. Although, actually I don't quite understand that. I also read that the one at Elephant Castle opened in the 1960s. Anyway, I'm in Starbucks in the central courtyard. They've got a Costa as well, but I stopped off at Costa on the way here. I've got a venti Earl Grey tea and a friendly dolphin tuna sandwich. It does feel different here to at Elephant and Castle. Loads more shops and it's very clean. Actually, maybe this is a mall, not a centre. Just as I was leaving, I asked him if he was planning on looking for another job, or was he going to spend the rest of his life watching TV? I'm getting a bit anxious about how he's going to pay the rent. He said nothing, just sat there, and I went to grab my bag, which was by the sofa, and he says, totally out of the blue, that he's thinking of moving out, possibly in with his girlfriend. He said that he wants to try and save a bit of money. I mean, I think he's rushing into things. He's only been going out with her for a few months. I can't stop thinking about what I'm going to do. I mean, it's really annoying. How am I expected to concentrate on making this programme? I've come outside. I'd have a wander round. Try and see the place in its geographical context. I've come to where the North Circular meets the start of the M1, just under the flyover, on a bit of grass. It's incredible here. I mean, there's cars and lorries everywhere. It's actually quite calming, sitting here in the middle. Back at work today, it's fairly quiet, so I thought I'd try and sum up my thoughts on Brent Cross. When I got back from there last night, he was on the phone to his girlfriend, having an argument or something. I tried not to listen, but I know it was something to do with finding a place together. When he'd finished, I went into the living room and asked him when he was planning on leaving. He said, I don't know. So I said, look, I need to know. And he just said, as soon as possible. Went into his room and slammed the door. I knew he'd react like that. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow. I could go and take a look at Blue Water when everyone's raving about it. Actually, I wouldn't mind going back to Brent Cross. New shopping centres come and go, but it's outlasted them all. It's a survivor. I'm in a TK Maxx on the other side of the North Circular, from the Brent Cross shopping centre. I don't know why I'm here, don't want to buy anything. I was walking past and thought I'd pop in. No, really don't want to buy anything. Look, a jumper that seems very nice, a large not my size, by PA Cardan, $24.99. So cheap, there's no harm in trying it on. It doesn't fit very well. Looks like a sack on me, maybe I'll try on something else. Look, this jumper is green, and this one's by Daniel Hector. I've never heard of him, still I'll try it on. No, doesn't look very good on me either. Now I don't know what I'm going to do. Think I want something new, but I don't want to leave this shop empty-handed. Now I feel so disappointed. He's handed his notice in. He's only moving up the road. I think it's more expensive than this place. I thought he was trying to save money. Thought I'd get out of the flat, come to the cafe. I've got a cappuccino, although it doesn't have much froth. I could think of it as a latte. Anyway, I rang the landlord earlier. Hadn't seen him at all recently. He's not been around quite a lot. Anyway, one of the first things he said is, "You found anyone for the room?" I said, "There's no way I'll find anyone in the state it's in. The whole place needs a lot of work, really." He sort of agreed. I couldn't believe it. I just didn't think that landlords do that sort of thing. I got really nervous. And I told him that I was making this series. What I'd really like is to be able to use one of the rooms as my studio to make it in. I made out I was a bit of a struggling artist. But he said okay, that for a couple of months, whilst he does the place up a bit, he'll reduce the rent. I can have the place to myself. The virtue of open plan living, the variety and contrast comes with plain and the patterned spaces. Natural subdivisions break up the aesthetic rigour. Vertiginous light pours in through vast windows, almost dances in air, an infinite horizon of shiny. I've never lived on my own before. Quite nervous. But I'm really excited too. I mean, I'll still have to find someone eventually, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Anyway, I was flicking through one of my books earlier, and there's a picture from the 1950s of Charles and Ray Eames in their living room. I've got one of their chairs. It's a red plastic rocking chair that I bought last year. In the photo, they've got 3 cushions on the floor, one on top of the other, to sit on. I thought it's a really nice idea. I might try that when he moves out. Elephant and Castle Shopping Centre. Its exterior once a dark green, most famous as a bright pink, now a combination of red and white. Demolished 2010. Survived by Brent Cross Shopping Centre, beige and grey.
Julian Fox Concrete Poetry was produced by Seb Barwell at Angel Eye for BBC Radio 4. It was written and performed by Julian Fox.